Welcome to Get Organized at Work. I'm your host, Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt, healthcare leader, mom of three, and your go-to guide for ditching the chaos and taking control of your workday. This is the show where we turn overwhelming to-do lists into clear, actionable plans so you can crush your goals and show up as your best self at work and in your life. Whether you're here for strategies to stay ahead or systems to simplify your workday, you're in the right place. Let's get organized, have some fun, and make this year your best year in your career yet. Let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to Get Organized at Work podcast. I'm Kayla, I'm your host, and this is the place where we talk about leadership, systems, and realistic ways to organize your work without losing ourselves in the process. So I'm just super grateful to you all for listening and to our podcast community and our community app. I'm coming into this week's episode with just like the biggest smile and so much gratitude in my heart, because this is the week that sort of showed me that the slow, steady, intentional work that I've been doing to grow our podcast and our community, it works. We've been growing roots. So I've had new members and members who have been part of the community since the beginning or in the recent months join the community as an invested founding member. And it's so exciting to see that people are seeing the value in the community. We're doing webinars every month. You have access to my courses, my recorded videos, all of my resources. So it's very cool to hear you say, yes, I want those systems to help me breathe at work. So if you're interested in becoming a founding member, you can check out the link to our community in the description or the show notes. Use the code FOUNDING or FOUNDER, and you will receive a discount rate. So you lock yourself in at $5 a month for the community. So super excited about that. Thank you. And shout out to Lance, one of our community members, for letting me know about needing to clarify what the coupon code was. So whether you enter founding or founder, it should work for you. On top of that, this week, I've hit so many sales on our ultimate OneNote bundle. It's been really cool to see that my tutorials on YouTube take off and really help real people emailing me say, hey, I want to set it up to be a dashboard for this. And I want to have a place where I can use this as a briefing for my leader. How could we do that with OneNote? So that's so cool. So I'll link the OneNote video that I made recently, the ultimate OneNote bundle, in the show notes as well. So if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, definitely go ahead and do that. We are over 2,000 subscribers on there. And that's where I upload these podcast videos weekly, but also monthly or so tutorials for tech tools, whether it's OneNote or Teams or Kanban boards, all of that. It's just a great way to be on the podcast where you're just listening, have a visual of what I'm actually talking about. So I don't share all this just to celebrate with you, although I absolutely am, but because it's evidence of today's topic, which is systems that protect your energy. So none of all of this community development and developing these tools happened because I worked harder this week. It happened because I built systems months and over a year ago that could help me when life got busy. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's dive in to the meat of the episode. In part one of this episode, I want to talk about how energy is a resource. It's not a personality trait. So we talk a lot about time management as at work, but I actually think that the real currency isn't time. And I know that might be controversial because I've probably said on this podcast that time is a huge currency for me, and it is. But then if you go beyond that, I actually think the real currency is energy. You can have an open calendar and still feel completely depleted. You can have a packed calendar and feel oddly calm and focused. So the difference is whether your systems are working for you and for your nervous system and what it can handle, or against it. And most of us are taught that being a good worker or a high performer means saying yes really quick, or keeping everything in our heads, memorizing, know everything on the spot, responding right away, or proving our value through being available all the time. But that model assumes that your energy is endless, which we know it's not. Speaking from experience, y'all know I have 3 children and I do all these other things that are my passions outside of work. My energy is not endless. So we have to assume that our energy is not endless because it does have limits.
So instead of asking ourselves, how can I get more disciplined? I want us to start asking, what systems could carry some of the weight for me? How could I alleviate some of the energy drain by having a system that just takes care of it? So let's talk about that. Okay, part 2 of the episode, let's talk about 3 types of energy protecting systems. I've noticed there's 3 broad categories of systems for me that change everything. Number 1, decision systems. So you don't have to redecide things or the same things. Number 2 would be boundary systems. How can you prevent work from leaking everywhere into all aspects of your life? And number 3, recovery systems. So energy gets restored and we're not depleted. So let's walk through each of these. Number 1, decision systems. Now, decision fatigue is sneaky. It doesn't feel dramatic. It sort of creeps up and feels like this: staring at your inbox without knowing where to start, rereading the same email 3 times. I know you've done it. Maybe even marking it unread so you can come back to it because you just can't deal with it right now. And maybe even opening 10, 15 tabs and doing nothing in them. A decision system answers the question before you're tired. And for me, that looks like my Kanban board that tells me what I'm doing and what's done. My OneNote hub that holds templates for me instead of me reinventing the wheel. My standard work and weekly reviews. So priorities are already set before I get started. And when we were talking about our episode last week about how getting organized at work, how this podcast and what I teach is sort of like the home edit, but for work, we talked about a pantry and how like it's so visually pleasing and it helps our brains see what's there. It's very organized, and how our systems at work, like Kanban boards, can do something similar. But here's the thing: a labeled pantry isn't about aesthetics at the end of the day. It's about not having a thing. Same at work. If every project lives in your brain never rests. Number 2, boundary systems. Boundaries are not just willpower, they're the architecture. So if your only boundary is, I'll try not to check my email after 6, that's not a system. That's a hope strategy. I always say, if you hope you're not going to do something or that you do something, it's a hope strategy. It's a wish. And hope strategies never really work out. So a boundary system instead might be email rules that sort your messages before you. Before you even open your inbox, you have rules. Maybe it's office hours or structured scheduled one-on-one for your team. It could be a visible Kanban board so people don't interrupt you. You can point them to that resource, or templates that slow down urgent requests. Hey, instead of vomiting to me or scheduling meetings, fill out this structured, simple S bar so I know what you need from me. One of my favorites is sort of this 24-hour time frame that I have, which would be if I have an email or something that I need to respond to that takes a lot of energy or effort or input, I might just respond right away and say, let me review this and get back to you tomorrow. And that single sentence has saved me from many, many reactive decisions or overwhelm. It gives me space. So systems hold boundaries so you don't have to be the bad guy every single time. You have systems to let people know where you're at, how they can reach you, where the information is, so that you don't get constantly depleted with constant pings. All right, number 3 is recovery systems. This is the human side, and this is my favorite one. As you know, I love people, and this is the one that leaders tend to skip because we often design work systems, but we forget about human systems. Recovery isn't just about weekends or vacations, because let me tell you, like I said, with 3 kids, I don't know, but weekends aren't always the most rejuvenating for me. They're lovely, of course, but I mean, I'm not off the clock. So we need to think about what restores you inside the workday. We can build lights you up work on purpose, right? The things that make you excited and sparkly at work. Not everything at work has to be heavy. And I know so many people say, well, I'm just here to punch the clock. But I'm guessing if you're doing leadership development and listening to a podcast like that, you have immense purpose, or you want to have immense purpose in your work. So that's probably not you. So here's a recovery system or systems that could be intentionally scheduled to help you find that sparkle. It could be mentoring a student, teaching something you love, maybe designing a new OneNote page or template, working on a creative improvement project. What I've learned about myself is that if the whole week is just operations and crisis management, I'm drained. Even if like 5 or 10% of my week is teaching, creating, or dreaming up better systems, I can leave with energy. So think about one block a week that's allowed to be more joyful or sparkly in your workday. Another thing when I think about human systems for work would be around movement as part of your work, not this extra reward. So I used to treat, going to get my exercise in like, oh, it's a dessert, like extra. If I get to finish everything at work, I can sign off and I can go to the gym. But now it's part of my system, right? Like I get up and I go running and then I sign on to my huddles. Or maybe I have walking meetings, even if I'm remote or at home, I'll just walk around my house with my headphones on and take these calls. You could do a 10-minute treadmill reset or a lunchtime loop around the hospital if you work in healthcare, or maybe stand up and while you're reading your emails. Return energy to your body first, not just your mind or not just the inbox. The more that you're in the body, the less stressful, at least I feel. You might also think about closing the loop rituals, right? So, like before I leave, making a few bullet points for tomorrow, or one thing I'm proud of, or one thing I'm letting go. The thing is, with these, it's so easy to skip them. But I find if I do just take the tiny moments to do it, it tells my nervous system, like, okay, you don't have to hold on to this overnight. This is on paper or in your OneNote. Just let it go. You can also think about people as a recovery system. So when we're working, especially in these days where we're all at computers, we often think we have to recover, do our work by ourselves or solo. But sometimes it's about texting a work friend saying like, hey, can you sanity check me? Or a 5-minute laugh between meetings. Like I know people always put down small talk, but honestly, I'm genuinely curious. Like, how are you? Or, hey, I have this joke, or I have the food of the day. On my huddles with my team, they share a food of the day, and it's always interesting to hear people's preferences. And although it may sound kind of silly, it's a light part of the day that we all look forward to. And if we don't have the person on who's doing the food of the day, we all really miss it. So even something so simple as co-working on teams, as instead of being alone or looking forward to that touch point. Belonging is truly an energy source to help, pump up your energy and not deplete you. The next one would be an identity system, remembering who you are outside of your title. You actually aren't your title. I love to think of myself as a runner, a mom, a teacher, a creative person, a good friend. That identity can pull you back when work gets loud. Like, yes, my work is important and I'm a human being. And that's pretty cool. Man, I'm very capable. Just reminding yourself that you're more than your title. And then also give yourself permission to be done. Having a system to decide in advance what enough looks like. Maybe it's your inbox under 20 equals success. That may be realistic for some, maybe not for others. Or maybe a top 3 tasks or leave happy tasks, right? I got these things done. That's a win. I can sign off. Otherwise, your brain moves the finish line all day long. One more thing, it's never enough, right? We have to be okay with the fact that our list is going to exist beyond the shift that we have or that day, and that it's okay to be done with our work at some time. All right. So in this part of the episode, I just want to give you a real life example of how I boosted my energy, but also sort of set boundaries for myself in the workday. So this week was a pretty perfect case study. I taught at the University of Minnesota. I led in my healthcare role. I showed up for my kids and my hubs, and I still welcome new community members and bundled sales in my business. And the old me would have straight up white knuckled last week, like holding on for dear life, staying up late, trying to get it all done. But the current me felt like I was organized. I have my podcast episodes pre-planned and all outlined. My community posts were scheduled. My OneNote templates have been ready. And I do have a list of high priority tasks that tell me what actually matters. So these types of systems protected my energy even when my schedule didn't. And it wasn't perfection at all, but it was protection of my energy. So think about how can you make it so that life flows instead of always feels like you're sort of hitting some resistance. So to do that, you can start by asking yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, what decision are you making over and over? Number 2, where does work leak into your life? And number 3, what restores you that isn't scheduled? And you can start with one thing. And I know for me, it's getting nicer outside. This weekend, I was actually able to go for a run outside because it was above 30 degrees. And I didn't really want to do it. I kind of got a creature of habit going to the gym, but I thought, you know what? It's sunny out there. I'm going to try to get my dose of vitamin D, and it helped me. Right. So, what do you need to shift out of? Shed those winter layers. It's going to be spring soon. So I know you can do it. If any of this resonated with you, I would love to invite you into our community. Like I said, we just opened our invested membership at the founding member rate of $5 a month with the code founder or founding at checkout. So inside, you're going to get my OneNote hub. You'll have my Get Organized at Work blueprint course, weekly prompts, and real humans figuring this out together who are, by the way, exceptional professionals. And to those of you who joined this week, thank you for trusting me with your systems and energy and for contributing to the community, engaging with the posts, commenting on the posts, and letting people know that you're there for them. Next week, we're going to be talking about energy boundaries through Kanban boards. So I'm excited to talk through not just using them in Teams and Microsoft, but some other different applications, but just the theory about how to use your board to make decisions for you and to allow you to say yes or not now without you having to. All right, this week, notice one system that protects your energy and say thank you to that. Thank yourself. You don't need to be more productive. You just need to be more supported. I will see you next time. Bye.